are going to notify residents that will be affected by that particular event if they use those residential streets, specifically Terry Lane, Gilmore Avenue, Clark's Lane, Lake Boulevards. They've done that in the past, and I assume it's going forward.
Mayor and Council, we work with Winona to notify all the citizens on the route.
Okay.
The city actually does that and is actually reimbursed by Winona, so it actually comes from our office, so it's not seen as a piece of junk mail.
Right.
Theoretically, it looks like it's an official letter from the city.
Okay.
So we do that with Winona. Correct.
And one more comment, and this is, I guess, not only for this event, but other events that use the public streets for running or bicycling events. Sometimes they'll paint arrows indicating a left turn or a right turn ahead. I wish they would use disposable or biodegradable materials so that once the event is done, 6 months later, we're not still seeing the arrows still painted on the pavement.
Kelly is here from Winona if you'd like her to address that, but I can certainly tell you what we've done in the past. We have learned that happened in the first couple of years, that 6 months later we still had turn arrows. We are currently using, or request that they use biodegradable, something that washes off very easily.
Yeah.
We don't necessarily ask them to do that right away after the event, but typically after the first rain, it's gone.
Okay, that's all my comment. I don't need to have you stand up for us.
What do you do if it's raining the day of Winona? You get lost.
Do it twice.
Well,
What do you do?
the event still happens if it's raining.
But we won't have any arrows.
No, they do different course markers and volunteers on the course to make sure people are knowing where they're going.
Okay. Thank you,
Okay.
Jeff.
Other questions, George?
Considering now it's going into its 8th year from, I know we were on council, most of us, when this first got approved 8 years ago, and this has really grown into be one fantastic large event and growing more and more. So thanks to everyone. Good advertisement for the city too.
Is this the one you're going in, you're gonna sign up for? I forget. Michelle, is this?
Color dash, color dash.
Oh, okay.
Let's let him grow into that one.
Anything else from council? If not, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries.
Item 3.3 is a request from the Winona Main Street for the Touch a Truck and Play Streets event on Saturday, May 14th.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Michelle, and seconded by George.
And David is here if you have questions.
It's a wonderful event. If you have not gone to Touch a Truck, it's just really neat and just fun to see all the people down there enjoying the trucks, and the city has a big role in this with the different vehicles that we have, and the police and fire and the Vector and all these trucks. So it's the street sweeper. It's fun.
And they're some of the nicest people too. They give out the best things, like now how not to clog your drains with the sucker. It's good stuff. Those are some good guys you got out there.
The little kids just eat it up.
They do. And me too. I'm not a little kid, but I really love it.
And Michelle serves hot dogs.
I do serve hot dogs.
Al?
I think it's a great family event. I think the original concept was good, and this has only grown. And my grandchildren were there last time, had a great time. And the only thing, though, I noticed is that one of my 6-year-old was a little scared when he pulled the cord for one of the horns on the truck, and it was really loud. So, but it's fun, and it's a great event. And hope good weather like last year, and many people can show up and enjoy it. Thank you for putting it on.
You ready to vote? I think so. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries.
Item 3.4 is a request for a 5K, 10K by Bluffview Montessori on Saturday, May 14th.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Michelle, seconded by Al. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries.
Item 3.5 is a request to hold a parade by Lake Winona Manor on June 14th.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Michelle, seconded by George. I have to say, if you haven't been to this parade, it's quite a parade. It's really a lot of fun. They go around the circle twice, and right in front of Lake Winona Manor, and the residents are all out there. It's one of the most unique parades you'll ever watch, so, and it's really well put together. Any comments or questions? If not, we'll vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries.
Item 3.6 is a request by Paperbacks and Pieces Bookstore for street closure on Saturday, May 7th.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Michelle and seconded by Pam. Discussion. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries.
Item 3.7 is a request for use of Levy Park by the Winona County Wellness Committee on Thursday, April 21st.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Michelle and seconded again by Pam. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries.
Under new business, item 5.1 is to approve the specifications for a truck mount slinger spreader, and bids would be due on April 13th.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Paul and seconded by Michelle. Discussion? Michelle?
I love the name of this truck. And I have to tell you, it's so descriptive that I could just imagine in my mind what it's used for. I'm glad that it has, rear and front guards. It's good stuff. Good stuff.
And I would note, it won't be here for your touch a truck.
Unfortunately, next year.
Clean
Cleaned
it
up.
Cleaned
Cleaned
it up.
up.
You may not want to use it.
George, did you have something?
Yeah. Keith, how many of these trucks do we have?
I'm not positive. I think we use 3 of them at a time that
Okay.
are operating.
Okay. What's the life of one?
They last a long time.
Anything else? Guess not. We'll vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries.
Item 5.2 is the levy accreditation Phase 1, and you were sent out a revised resolution as well as a copy of the draft service contract with Mead and Hunt.
Keith, you probably should give a little update here.
Thank you,
Certainly
Mayor.
glad to see the 2 bids and difference in bids here.
Yeah. Thank you, Mayor and Council. We did, as you said, we actually requested at least 4 proposals on this from different contractors or different consultants, and we only received 2, but we're glad we got 2 of them. And what we're talking about doing is the Phase 1 of the accreditation of the levy. Phase 1 would be the analysis and the investigation of the system. If they find any problems, then Phase 2 would go into designing those and addressing those problems. But Phase 1 will be going through the original material, comparing it to current standards, current specifications, and if they don't exist, taking borings, doing survey, anything that has to happen, going through the pumping systems. I got the mechanical engineers, structural engineers, really an extensive process in doing that. We received the bids from the proposals from the 2 companies, Mead and Hunt as one of them, and the other one, Stantec. There's a significant difference in the cost, the price that they're quoting us. Going through the material they presented to us, there appears to be a different approach to doing it. First of all, either one of them will get us to the final product being the same thing, getting it accredited according to the standards set forward by FEMA and by the Corps. There is no wiggle room on that. That has to happen. Stantec's proposal is doing more borings, more survey, core borings on the concrete. That's what they feel would need to be done to do the analysis. Mead and Hunt is doing less of that. They're not actually doing, my example would be the corings of the concrete. They're going to be going with non-destructive methods, comparing the original design to current standards. Have things changed? Going through the hydraulic analysis. Both of them have done similar systems. Both of them have completed the accreditation process on the similar systems. Both of them are qualified. I'm comfortable with either one of them. I like with the Mead and Hunt in particular that we can get it done sooner, because if we do find something, we have to get that designed and addressed and then submit it to the Corps in time to get the 2017 deadline for the accreditation. So I recommend that we go with the Mead and Hunt proposal.
Well, I'm sure if I don't ask it, somebody else will. What's a piezometer?
piezometer is on the dry side of the levee, and it's basically a hole in the ground that measures the water elevation in the ground. And what it's doing is, we have a collection system on the dry side of the levee, which collects the water that seeps through it. Our levee is made out of sand, and also Winona's made out of sand. And if the water in the ground is too high, then it's not being collected in the system. So we're supposed to go out and measure those things to make sure the groundwater is down far enough, which comes back and tells us that the collection system is working properly.
Thank you. Al?
What about the requirement, I see you did list on the cover page about the city paying for work on the consultant for portions of the dike that are not within the city limits? Did I read that right?
Right.
Okay.
There's a section of the levee, thank you, a section of the system from Logging Dam 5A to Minnesota City, which technically belongs to the Corps. They've asked us to include that in our analysis, and I asked them why. And basically it's because that portion of the levee also protects the city of Winona, and it doesn't protect any of their property. So they're asking us to, we could not just do our portion and then not do theirs at all, because the water could go around it. So it has to be considered as all of one portion. When it comes time for doing improvements, we'll go back to, if there's some improvements need to be done in their portion, we'll definitely go back to them and say, this is your maintenance, you should pay for that, and then we'll have that discussion.
Are there any other cities that are protected by that section of dike?
I would say Goodview would be a portion of that.
And Goodview is not part of this?
They're not part of this process. No,
Why
we have
wouldn't they
this-
share in the
Yeah.
cost of this?
I guess I've never presented that to them.
I mean, not that I would want them to take on any extra burdens, but, it seems a little unfair for us as people in Winona to pay for something that benefits another community, although I know that we raised Highway 61 to protect Goodview when we originally did that with some other dike work out in the Gilmore Valley area. But, it just strikes me that if it's a core property, even though Core doesn't benefit from it, apparently with property that they own, they should really participate in this process. I don't want to slow it down. I'm just making a comment here. I think we should go forward with this because it's important and critical, and as you said, to get it done, and if we have to make improvements, time to do that on a timely manner, but I'm just raising those points as an issue for any future projects that we might get involved with the Corps. And these accreditations, these standards change as more hurricanes hit the south, apparently. We're seeing our requirements reflected by what happens in other parts of the country, good or bad. I think it's a good thing, but, we end up paying for that, and I'm just a little unhappy about that. I'm willing to do it, but I'm doing it reluctantly.
If I could add it there,
Okay.
it really is a small portion because the Corps is providing all of the data, any kind of survey, analysis, and whatever. They're going to be providing all of that.
Okay.
The consultant is just reviewing the data and then saying, yes, it complies or not with their own rules. So it's a small portion, but it is still money.
Well, I would make a motion to approve the attached resolution appointing Mead and Hunt for Phase 1 accreditation.
Second.
Second that.
Motion by Michelle and seconded by Paul. Other discussion? George?
The part of the dike that Al's talking about, does that not protect our airport?
It protects all of Winona.
Right.
And yes, the airport and Winona.
So this dike is gonna cover it from there all the way east of Peerless Chain.
Correct. Including the Gilmore Valley, Gilmore Creek levee system also.
Any other comments? Are there? If not, we have a motion. We'll vote on. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries.
Item 5.3 is the support for the second Amtrak train. And,
Sorry, go ahead. That was my bad. You finish.
this request is coming from the Winona Regional Railroad Authority, and it's for second daily train from Chicago to Minneapolis.
I'd make a motion to approve the attached resolution.
Second.
Motion by Michelle and seconded by Paul. Any discussion? Michelle?
I had just gotten a phone call from Leon Mashesky, and she just asked that if there's anyone who would be interested in serving on the Winona Area Advocacy Group that's pushing for the second line, They need volunteers and they need voices. This money is never earmarked necessarily for outstate, and this second train would be invaluable for our colleges, our businesses, and our tourism. And anyway, you can get in with them by calling her or contacting her, and I can give you the number, or All Aboard Minnesota is also working on the second train through Winona from Chicago to Minneapolis.
Thank you. If we're ready to vote, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Passes.
Item 5.4 is an agreement for bus advertising for the Ride Link program, and this would be an agreement with MnDOT to purchase advertising on the city transit buses for the Ride Link program.
Move to adopt the attached resolution.
I would second that.
Motion by George, seconded by Pam. Any discussion? Al?
It says here that the system would purchase the advertising and the city would reimburse for these expenses. Why does the city have to purchase it first and then get reimbursed? Why doesn't MnDOT purchase it outright?
That would be a question you should pose to MnDOT.
Okay,
But they,
just how they do
they're
things?
doing this program in a number of transit systems throughout the state. And I think it has to do with the flow of the federal grant money they're using.
Okay. Probably somewhere along the line, there's a case law that says you have to do it this way. Okay, okay.
Michelle?
But we're certain MnDOT is going to pay for it.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
I think it's a fair question.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure. Okay?
Anything else? We'll vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Item 5.5 is the Prairie Island Campground and canoe and boat rental agreements.
Second.
Motion by Paul, seconded by Jerry. Discussion?
I would ask that the maker of the motion indicate that this is for both of the agreements, both the, what is it, the service agreement and then the other agreement that's in our packet, is that correct?
Financial.
Yeah. Is that correct? Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Item 5.6 is the Trail Connection Grant application with the Minnesota DNR.
Move to approve the attached resolution.
Second that.
Motion by Al, seconded by Pam. Discussion? Michelle?
I don't know, Chad, who's the right one to ask about this? Keith? Okay, sorry. I had some people, some downtown people ask me about the curvature of this line and why it was so aggressive and seemed to take up, in their mind, it looked like it was taking up land that could have been repurchased, but when I look at it, it's hard to say on this map, because this is the map they had, but to me, it looks like it's mostly over what would have already been railroad/city frontage. Am I looking at it wrong? It's kind of a blurry map, and I can't quite tell what I'm looking at, where that red line is.
Mayor and council, we have a map provided by Terry Ward from MnDOT. I've talked to Brian about that, including that in the application. It gives a better overall detail of where that trail goes. It does not have that strong of a curvature, but for this purpose of the map of the overview, it does. But this does, again, bridge comes off into the plaza area, and then it does have a curvature to the west to connect to the at-grade crossing near Riverview Drive. So we do have, and will include the detailed map that Terry Ward's provided at this point as well. So I don't know if that answered. Did that answer this?
It does. I'm guessing this is kind of what was always proposed as part of the plan. This hasn't changed specifically. Okay, because when I looked at that map, it looked more like the line. It does go across the old American Inn, but there's no way around that. But the curvature here just looked like it was more, it almost looks like it's touching the road. And so I had some people question me on that when they saw it, and I just wanted to make sure. Thanks.
This is something the bridge committee, right from the get-go, wanted to have. I think you were on that committee, weren't you, Pam? it's always been a part of it, and with the new 12-foot wide bicycle pedestrian path coming over the bridge, we want to be able to connect them to the trail system, so.
Yes, I do have a question though. Is the trail where it swings out and starts to join the red line joins the blue line, okay? Where we're joining up with the levee, the top of the levee trail, is that going to be separated from the traffic? The red portion swings around, I think it's at the foot of Huff Street. Will that be separated from traffic, or will this be not separated?
Mayor and Council, just unclear, Pam, you talking about the red line, and if it's separated from Huff Street and the traffic on Huff Street?
Yes, yes.
Yes, we just
Okay,
separated.
separated by some kind of barricade or?
I don't believe the plan has any barricade or barrier, but there's a separation between the street and then this path.
Okay, so some distance.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Is this a competitive grant process? And if so, how likely is the city going to be receiving it?
Yes, it's competitive, so it's not a sure thing.
Okay.
It's budgeted and planned on already, but certainly hope we get granted.
I hope we do too, but if we don't, we'll fund it ourselves then, because it's important, as you say, to the whole bridge project. Thank you.
anything else? Guess we're ready to vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Say aye. Opposed, same sign. All right, it passed.
And item
I knew what you meant.
5.7, the conduit debt for the Bluffview Montessori School Bond refunding.
Move to approve the refunding.
Second that?
Motion by George and seconded by Pam. Discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Passes.
Item 7.1 is council concerns.
Start with Michelle tonight.
I'm good.
All right, Jerry?
As I indicated earlier, at 11 o'clock today, we had a few members of staff, city manager and Councilman Borchakowski and I had a meeting about the Emerald Ash Board. I'm sure the city manager will bring back probably at the next meeting real quick on what the numbers are, how many we've treated, what the funding is, et cetera, et cetera. I bring it up now, though, just to mention to the thousands that are listening right now that they are.
I know, hello, people.
That you should still consider, if you have an ash tree that you want to save, treating is still a viable option. The city is only going to do, basically the city has done a few of them, actually about 1,000 on the boulevards, and they've done a number of them in a lot of the parks. They're going to continue to do a few more in some of the parks and then keep that going. But if you have an ash tree that you want to save, you'd better get it treated now, because the bug is here and it's spreading. So we don't want to advertise for a particular company, but if you contact the city hall, they will give you some recommendations on who is licensed in the local area. It's inexpensive and it's a great way to save a tree, and frankly, it's numbers have proven if it's a larger tree, it's probably less expensive to treat it than it is to eventually have the tree in your backyard get ill, have the tree taken out, and then it's dozens of years before you get shade back. So again, the bug will get your tree this year if you probably don't treat it. If you're thinking about it, certainly contact the city and the city will send you in the right direction. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah?
Other than echoing the mayor's comments, to congratulate the Winona Senior High girls basketball team for an outstanding season. That's all I have.
Paul?
Main thing, I would like both of our franchisees of our cable system, that I was disappointed that the girls' game was not on the TV. And particularly the one that the 6 o'clock game,
I watched it.
oh, okay.
It was
well,
on-
I
it was on
apologize.
HBC.
As you were.
It was on
I could
HBC,
see on the,
not on
on
French Charter, I don't know.
Charter, that the only thing I could get was
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin basketball. And, the other thing is that if anybody has a concern, and particularly if they have an older home in Winona, about testing their water individually, particularly the water that runs from the city's lines to their house, the Winona County Recycling Center has kits that the lead test costs $24 for the kit, and they can test for nitrates for $54, and they're done by an independent lab, and they're available to anybody who has that concern.
Thank you. Pam?
Yesterday I was down at Lake Park and I walked by the rose garden, by the band shell, and discovered that big double-wide porta potty had been completely melted. Somebody's done vandalism down there. I don't know if this is old or new, but it was very disturbing to see. And I would hope we would be making great efforts to find who did that, and also to replace it, because there's a lot of kids and a lot of people around there. Do you have any news about that, Chad?
Mayor and council, it happened this weekend.
Okay.
Police notified our department, so I know that they're working on it. Today we ordered replacements. Again, if anybody has any information, we certainly take it. And so I know that park maintenance is working on removing them and then replacements to come.
Chad, I have a question, and it may be more expensive, but have they come up with a porta-john that doesn't light on fires either? Because don't laugh on that, the Anova, the old Fusion Coatings, is coming up with a new formula that won't stay lit, because we had that same problem with a lot of the picnic tables.
You should Google Portland Lou.
Do they have something that
Check
doesn't
it
light?
out. It's a
Okay,
I get the emails all the time, yeah.
well, there you have it.
I have no idea what they cost.
Maybe we want to check to see what the cost relationship is or comparison is.
Okay.
Thank you, that's all.
George?
Okay, thank you. Keith, just a few items here on railroad track crossing repairs. A few years back, Wall Street was done, but 3rd and 2nd Street, the crossings on Wall were not done. Is that in the plan to have those two done? I know the one especially on 2nd Street leading to the old knitting mills building is really dinged up as much as 3rd Street.
Your timing is excellent. My understanding is that the railroad had a couple of trains that slid off the tracks there recently, and both of those are in the process of being fixed within the next couple of weeks.
Okay. And also, Mankato Avenue track crossing, yes, they did do some patching, but that's in need of major repair, as is Louisa Street. So just give an update as to how those projects are coming along. Haley Hepner from the Winona Senior High School girls basketball team quoted saying, "Even though we didn't bring home the trophy we wanted, you have to be proud of what you did." This community, the schools are proud of that girls basketball team, proud of the coaches. You put on one heck of a good, remarkable performance representing our school and our city well. And that is tourism at its very best. So congratulations to all those girls and Coach Gleason and his staff and all the parents, players, grandparents. It's one big family and the whole community was behind you. Thank you very much, and the future does look bright for that team. And also, this Sunday, Easter Sunday, the Easter Bunny will be in town on the corner of
George, is this your other job?
the Easter Bunny will be in town on the corner of Broadway and Franklin by the Dave and Judy Stoltman home from 8:30 to 11:30. So you'll have to come down and just see who the bunny is. So I can't leak that out, but he will be in town this weekend. Thank you and happy Easter, and everyone have a good week.
Thank you.
Under the consent agenda, there are 5 items. Approval of minutes for March 7th, the final adoption of an ordinance to rezone for VEH properties, an ordinance to zone 1720 Valley View Drive, and an ordinance to zone 22743 County Road 17, and a claim against the city by Katie Lucy.
Move to approve the consent agenda?
Second.
Motion by Al, seconded by Michelle. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Mayor, I move we adjourn.
Second.
Motion by George, seconded by Michelle. All those in favor say aye.
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 We're adjourned.
Out of here by 6, sorry to say. Out of here by 6.